As the sun sets and the day begins to slip away, the world outside quiets down. The rush of the day starts to fade, and the darkness creeps in. In this tranquil moment, before you drift off to sleep, you are presented with a rare opportunity, a chance to reflect. How did today go? What decisions did you make? Were you led astray by temporary desires, driven by impulses and distractions that served no true purpose? Or did you manage to stay steady, taking control of your thoughts, actions, and emotions? This is the essence of what the Stoics, the ancient philosophers who emphasized wisdom and self-control, taught. For them, the real battleground is not out there in the chaotic world, but within the mind. The Stoics believed that each day is a reflection of the internal struggles we face, and they encouraged people to pause and examine their lives, especially at the close of day. Before you let the peaceful silence of the night fully settle, ask yourself, have I acted in a way that reflects the person I want to be? Or have I let fleeting emotions and distractions pull me away from my true purpose? To master yourself, the Stoics proposed a simple yet profound nightly ritual, a time to look inward and take stock of your life. The practice is not just about examining the events of the day, but also about shaping your internal world. It's a chance to reflect, recalibrate, and set your mind in order before sleep. This process doesn't have to be complicated, but it must be intentional. By making it a daily practice, you gradually inch closer to becoming the best version of yourself, step by step. The teachings of Stoicism provide us with a framework for this nightly ritual, one that can help fortify us against the storms of life. What follows is a list of 17 practices, each rooted in Stoic wisdom, that, if done consistently, will help you grow stronger, wiser, and more self-aware. These aren't just philosophical ideas to read about. They are actionable steps to improve your mental and emotional state, bringing you closer to peace, serenity, and resilience. The goal of these practices is not perfection, but progress. Life is not about achieving flawless control over every thought and action. Rather, it is about making small, steady improvements. By asking yourself the right questions and engaging in these simple yet powerful practices each evening, you start to cultivate the habits of a Stoic: mindfulness, self-discipline, and inner calm. These are the building blocks of a life well lived. One of the most powerful aspects of this nightly practice is that it invites you to become the observer of your own life. Instead of reacting mindlessly to the events around you, you become more deliberate, more intentional. You start to notice the subtle ways in which you are shaped by external circumstances and recognize the power you have to choose your response. This kind of awareness is the first step in gaining control over your life. Each night you have the opportunity to ask yourself, how did I respond to the challenges of the day? What could I have done differently? In doing so, you train yourself to be more mindful and less reactive, building a stronger foundation for the days ahead. Number 1. Reflect on the day with honesty. At the close of each day, before the rush of sleep takes over, it's valuable to pause and take an honest look at the hours you've just lived through. We often move through our days on autopilot, juggling tasks, interacting with others, and handling emotions without giving much thought to how we're responding in the moment. But to truly grow, it's important to set aside time to review how we spent our time, how we felt, and how we acted throughout the day. Reflection isn't just a passive process, it's an active tool for self-improvement. So, as you prepare for rest, think about how you showed up in the world today. One of the most revealing aspects of reflection is looking at your emotions. Emotions are powerful forces that shape our responses to the world, often without us realizing it. Did you stay in control of your emotions today? Or were there moments when you were overtaken by anger, jealousy, frustration, or anxiety? These emotions can dictate how we interact with others, how we make decisions, and how we feel about ourselves. For instance, if you found yourself getting upset in a conversation, what triggered that reaction? Was it something someone said, or was it an internal feeling that was already there? By examining these emotional responses, you can start to understand what affects you and why, which is the first step in managing your feelings in the future. Alongside emotions, it's also important to review your actions and behaviors. Did you act with integrity, or did you fall short of your own standards? Did you treat people with kindness and respect, or did you react harshly or become distant? In our busy lives, it's easy to lose sight of our own values in the heat of the moment. We might get caught up in stress, impatience, or busyness and forget the way we want to show up in the world. Reflecting on the day helps you check if you've remained true to your core values or if you've let external pressures influence your actions. The practice of reflection also involves looking at your duties and responsibilities. Did you complete your work, or did you procrastinate or avoid tasks that you know are important? Often, we spend our time on distractions because they feel easier or more pleasant in the short term. But real growth requires us to do what's hard, what's necessary, and what we know will move us forward in the long run. Reflecting on how well you followed through on your commitments helps you identify areas where you can improve. It can also provide insight into why you avoided certain tasks or why you struggled with certain responsibilities. Maybe there's a fear of failure, a lack of motivation, or simply a lack of clear priorities. Whatever it is, recognizing the problem is the first step to overcoming it. In his writings, Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, offers us an invaluable perspective on overcoming obstacles. He says, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Number 2, embrace imperfection. In today's world, the pressure to be perfect is everywhere. From social media to workplace expectations, we're constantly reminded of how we should look, act, or achieve. It's no surprise that many of us feel a sense of inadequacy when we don't measure up to these unrealistic standards. However, what if the pursuit of perfection is not only futile, but also counterproductive? Instead of chasing an elusive ideal, embracing imperfection could be the key to living a richer, more fulfilling life. First, let's address the myth of perfection. Perfection is an idea, not a reality. It's a concept that, no matter how hard we try, we will never fully attain. Why? Because life is messy, unpredictable, and full of variables beyond our control. The people we interact with, the choices we make, and even the unexpected events that happen can never be perfectly planned or controlled. In fact, when we strive for perfection, we often set ourselves up for disappointment. When things inevitably go wrong, we may feel frustrated, anxious, or even defeated. But here's the truth. Perfection isn't necessary to live a good life. It's the effort to grow and improve that makes life worthwhile. The ancient philosopher Epictetus once said, "We are not given a good life, we make a good life." This powerful statement reminds us that a fulfilling life doesn't simply fall into our laps. Instead, it's something we create, day by day, through our choices, actions, and attitudes. There will be setbacks, failures, and imperfections along the way. But each of these challenges is part of the process of creating a meaningful life. Instead of avoiding mistakes, we can learn to embrace them. Every misstep offers valuable lessons about who we are and what we want. So, instead of feeling defeated by imperfection, we can shift our perspective and see these moments as opportunities for growth. One of the first steps toward embracing imperfection is to stop being so hard on ourselves. It's easy to fall into the trap of harsh self-criticism when things don't go as planned. We might think we should be further along in our careers, relationships, or personal development. We compare ourselves to others and feel like we're falling short. But in reality, we all have our unique paths, and comparing ours to someone else's is like comparing apples to oranges. Everyone has their own challenges, strengths, and timelines. If we can learn to be kinder to ourselves in moments of struggle, we open the door to self-compassion, which in turn allows us to move forward with greater ease. The concept of imperfection is not about excusing poor behavior or avoiding responsibility. It's about understanding that mistakes are a natural and unavoidable part of life. Rather than seeing failure as something to fear, we can view it as a valuable part of the learning process. Each mistake provides information about what works and what doesn't. It's through trial and error that we build resilience, hone our skills, and deepen our understanding of the world. When we stop expecting perfection, we can appreciate progress, however small it may seem. And as we continue to move forward, our experiences, both good and bad, contribute to the person we are becoming. Number 3, release what you cannot control. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in the constant stream of things we can't control. We worry about the weather, how others perceive us, and the uncertainties of the future. These are all external forces that, no matter how much energy we pour into them, we have little to no influence over. Yet we often let these uncontrollable elements dominate our thoughts and emotions. This can leave us feeling drained, anxious, and overwhelmed. But what if we could learn to let go of these worries? What if we could release the need to control everything and find peace in the things we cannot change? The ancient Stoics, a school of thought that emphasizes self-control, resilience, and rational thinking, offered us a powerful tool for dealing with life's inevitable uncertainties. One of their most important teachings was, control what you can, accept what you cannot. This simple yet profound wisdom speaks to a fundamental truth. We can't control everything in life, but we can choose how we respond to it. By recognizing the limits of our control, we allow ourselves to focus our energy on the things that matter most, rather than wasting it on what's beyond our reach. Think about the countless times you found yourself obsessing over something that you had no power to change. Maybe you've spent hours fretting about the weather for an important event, or perhaps you've lost sleep over someone else's opinion of you. While these thoughts might feel important in the moment, they only steal your peace of mind. The weather will change regardless of your anxiety, and others' opinions will always be shaped by their own experiences, biases, and perceptions, none of which you can control. Similarly, the future is always in motion, unpredictable, and uncertain. No matter how much we plan, we can never be sure of what's coming. The key to releasing these worries is recognizing that we don't have to carry them. Imagine for a moment that you could let go of all the things you can't control. What if, at the end of the day, you could take a mental pause and surrender these concerns, knowing they don't belong to you? It's a powerful practice, one that can help restore your peace of mind and energy. A simple yet profound ritual before bed is to breathe deeply and consciously release these worries. Close your eyes and visualize them as objects or burdens that you can physically let go of. Whether you imagine them floating away into the sky or being absorbed by the earth, the act of releasing them can be incredibly freeing. By making this a regular part of your routine, you can train your mind to step away from unnecessary stress and focus on the present moment. Before you fall asleep each night, take a few deep breaths, exhale slowly, and with each breath imagine letting go of one worry or concern. This practice doesn't change the world around you, but it changes your relationship to it. It helps you acknowledge that while you can't control everything, you can choose not to let these uncontrollable factors dictate your mental and emotional well-being. Number 4, practice gratitude. Gratitude is a simple yet profound practice that can transform your life, even when things seem bleak. It's easy to focus on what we don't have or what isn't going right, especially during difficult times. But if we make a habit of looking for the good in every moment, we can unlock a powerful force that shifts our mindset and our entire outlook on life. Even in the darkest of hours, there's always something, no matter how small, to be thankful for. The practice of gratitude isn't just about counting blessings, but about training your mind to see the positive in every situation. The ancient Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "A grateful mind is a great mind, which eventually attracts to itself great things." This statement is more than just a feel-good quote. It's a reminder that the mindset we choose shapes our experiences. When we actively practice gratitude, we change the way we perceive the world. Rather than dwelling on problems, we start to notice the blessings, big or small, that enrich our lives. This shift in perspective doesn't just make us feel better in the moment, it also attracts more good things into our lives over time. Gratitude becomes a magnet for positivity, bringing in opportunities, relationships, and experiences that align with the joy we choose to cultivate. Taking the time to reflect on your day is one of the simplest ways to begin practicing gratitude. At the end of each day, pause for a few minutes to think about the moments that brought you joy or comfort. Maybe it was a cup of coffee in the morning, a kind word from a friend, or simply the fact that you made it through the day. These small moments, when noticed and appreciated, have the power to lift your spirits and put things into perspective. Even when life feels overwhelming, remembering these simple pleasures reminds us that we are always surrounded by things to be grateful for if we take the time to notice them. Gratitude is not just about the easy moments, though. In fact, it can be most powerful when life is challenging. During tough times, it can be hard to see anything to be thankful for, but that's precisely when gratitude can offer the most healing. By acknowledging even the smallest things we appreciate, like a roof over our heads, the ability to take a deep breath, or the love of family, we can begin to shift our focus away from the problems and towards the positives. This doesn't mean ignoring difficulties. Rather, it's about balancing them with an awareness of the good that still exists, even in the toughest moments. This shift in mindset can make us more resilient, less likely to be consumed by negative emotions, and more able to face challenges with strength and grace. What's remarkable about gratitude is that it doesn't just benefit us emotionally, it also improves our physical and mental well-being. Studies have shown that people who practice gratitude regularly tend to sleep better, have lower stress levels, and experience higher levels of happiness. This is because gratitude encourages us to focus on the present moment, reducing anxiety about the future or regrets about the past. Number 5. Examine your emotions. At the close of each day, it's crucial to set aside time for self-reflection, especially when it comes to understanding the emotions that shaped your actions. The busyness of life can often mask how deeply we feel, so pausing in the evening to examine your emotional state allows you to process what you've experienced. Think back to the moments that stirred something inside of you. Did you feel anger, frustration, fear, or perhaps a sense of joy? Were there specific events that triggered these emotions, or did they build up over time? This practice of emotional reflection is more than just acknowledging feelings. It's about understanding their origin and how they influenced your choices. As you reflect, it's essential to allow yourself to feel without judgment. It's easy to dismiss emotions as good or bad, but each emotion carries valuable insight. For example, if something made you angry, don't rush to dismiss it as unimportant. Instead, take a moment to ask yourself why you felt that way. Was it because you felt disrespected or unheard? Or maybe something triggered a past memory that heightened the emotion. By identifying the roots of your emotional reactions, you begin to see that emotions are signals, not simply outbursts or weaknesses. Once you've identified your emotions, it's important to explore how they influenced your actions. Emotions, particularly intense ones, often drive us to act impulsively. Maybe your anger led you to say something you regretted, or your fear kept you from pursuing an opportunity. The way emotions shape our behavior can be subtle, but it's undeniable. For instance, you might have avoided a difficult conversation out of anxiety, or you could have made a quick decision in frustration without fully thinking it through. Reflecting on these moments is essential because it helps you realize how your emotional state can steer your decisions, sometimes in ways that aren't in your best interest. One of the most important lessons in emotional awareness is learning to separate yourself from your emotions. It's natural to identify with what we feel, especially when emotions are overwhelming. But the truth is, emotions don't define us. They are temporary experiences that come and go, like waves on the shore. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely stated, "We are disturbed not by things, but by the view which we take of them." What this means is that the events in our lives don't disturb us as much as the way we perceive them. A situation might trigger anger or frustration, but it's how we choose to interpret that situation that determines whether we let those emotions control us or not. By learning to step back and observe your emotions from a place of detachment, you begin to see them for what they truly are, transient feelings that don't have to dictate your responses. This kind of emotional detachment doesn't mean suppressing your feelings. It's about developing the ability to recognize them without being consumed by them. When you can pause and observe your emotional reactions, you start to challenge them. Number 6. Let go of anger. Anger is one of the most destructive emotions we can carry. It starts as a fleeting feeling, a reaction to a perceived wrong, but if left unchecked, it grows like a wildfire, consuming everything in its path. While it may feel powerful in the moment, anger rarely brings any lasting resolution or peace. In fact, it often leaves us feeling more drained, hurt, and disconnected from others. The truth is, anger doesn't just damage our relationships. It also damages our inner peace, our mental well-being, and our ability to truly enjoy life. Every day we face challenges, and sometimes people or situations make us feel hurt, betrayed, or disrespected. It's natural to feel angry when wronged. However, what we do with that anger matters. When we cling to it, we carry the weight of resentment with us. It follows us like a shadow, clouding our judgment, poisoning our thoughts, and preventing us from moving forward. Instead of finding peace, we find ourselves trapped in a cycle of negative emotions, replaying old arguments and reliving moments that hurt us. This emotional baggage doesn't just stay in the past, it affects how we respond to present situations and the way we see the world. One of the most powerful practices we can adopt is to make peace with those who have wronged us before we go to sleep. At the end of each day, before we lay our heads down, we should consciously release any anger or bitterness we've been holding on to. The act of forgiveness doesn't mean we forget the wrong or condone bad behavior. It means we stop allowing it to take up space in our hearts and minds. When we forgive, we are essentially choosing to free ourselves from the emotional chains that anger creates. Without this emotional release, we risk taking that anger with us into the next day, carrying its weight and stress into our dreams, further robbing us of peace. The impact of unresolved anger can be significant. It can disrupt our sleep, elevate our stress levels, and lower our overall sense of well-being. When we go to bed angry, we are inviting the chaos of unresolved feelings into our subconscious. This can make it harder to rest, leading to restless nights and a clouded mind the next day. Waking up with that lingering anger only sets the tone for a negative and reactive mindset. But when we actively release our anger, we clear the mental clutter that hinders us from entering a peaceful state of mind. In doing so, we allow ourselves to recharge, to rest deeply, and to wake up with a fresh perspective. Marcus Aurelius, a philosopher and Roman emperor, offers profound wisdom on this matter. He writes in his Meditations, "When you are troubled by external things, the trouble is in your mind. Get rid of the trouble in your mind and the trouble will be gone." This advice teaches us that the external circumstances or people who upset us don't necessarily control our emotional state. The real power lies in how we respond to those things. Our minds are the battleground where anger takes root, and if we can learn to let go of that anger, we take away its power over us. Anger is, after all, an internal response. By mastering it, we can transform how we experience the world. Number 7. Ask yourself, did I do my best? At the end of every day, there's a quiet moment where you can choose to reflect on your actions, decisions, and efforts. In that moment, ask yourself one important question. Did I do my best? This question isn't about comparing yourself to others or judging your success based on external results. It's a personal check-in, a chance to honestly assess whether you gave everything you could to your goals, relationships, and responsibilities. By regularly asking yourself this, you begin to develop a deeper understanding of your own effort and a stronger commitment to doing your best each day. The Stoics, ancient philosophers who emphasized virtue, self-discipline, and personal responsibility, had a powerful belief. Excellence is within our control. They understood that while we cannot control everything that happens in the world around us, we always have control over how we respond and how much effort we put into our actions. According to Stoic philosophy, we may not be able to control outcomes, but we can always choose to act with excellence, to give our very best, regardless of the situation. This perspective allows us to focus on what is truly within our power, the effort we put forth and the attitude we carry with us. When you ask yourself, did I do my best? You are inviting an honest evaluation of your day. It's not about perfection or comparing your actions to some idealized version of success. Rather, it's a chance to assess whether you gave full attention and energy to your responsibilities. Did you show up for your work with focus and determination, or did you procrastinate and avoid the hard tasks? Did you engage with your relationships with kindness and patience, or did you let distractions take over? Did you take time for yourself, to recharge and care for your well-being, or did you neglect your own needs? Reflecting on these aspects helps you understand if you gave your best effort or if there's room for improvement. This question is also deeply tied to the idea of personal responsibility. It encourages you to take ownership of your choices and actions. No matter what external challenges you faced, be it a difficult project at work, a complicated conversation with a friend, or an unexpected setback, how you respond to those challenges is ultimately up to you. When you ask yourself whether you did your best, you shift the focus away from external circumstances and place it on your own actions. This makes you less likely to blame others or external factors for how things turned out and more focused on what you can do to improve next time. The Stoics didn't believe that doing your best meant achieving perfection or avoiding mistakes. In fact, they understood that failure was an inevitable part of life and growth. What they emphasized was the importance of giving your best effort regardless of the outcome. You might not always get the results you want, but if you can look back and honestly say that you did your best, you can feel a sense of pride in your effort. Each day offers a new chance to do better, to learn from your mistakes, and to refine your approach. Number 8. Identify your true values. Life can often feel like a whirlwind of goals, distractions, and pressures from all sides. It's easy to get caught up in the pursuit of things like wealth, status, or the comfort of a well-established routine. Many people spend years chasing these external markers of success, believing that they will bring happiness and fulfillment. However, more often than not, the pursuit of these fleeting goals leaves us feeling unfulfilled, empty, or disconnected from what really matters. So, what does matter? What are the deeper, more lasting drivers of happiness and purpose in life? At the core of a meaningful existence lies one thing: your values. Values are the invisible threads that tie together your thoughts, decisions, and actions. They represent your beliefs about what is most important in life, things like honesty, love, compassion, personal growth, and freedom. When you live in alignment with your core values, your actions feel purposeful, and even the toughest challenges become opportunities for growth. This is the kind of fulfillment that no amount of money or fame can provide. It's a sense of inner peace that comes from being true to yourself. In the words of the ancient philosopher Epictetus, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. What he means by this is that true freedom, and by extension true happiness, comes not from acquiring things or achieving external success, but from learning to focus on what is within our control. This includes our thoughts, our actions, and our values. If we can align our daily lives with our deepest beliefs, we are no longer at the mercy of external events. We begin to shape our lives based on what truly matters, not on the transient or uncontrollable aspects of the world around us. But how do we uncover our true values? The process begins with self-reflection. Take some time to look inward and ask yourself the hard questions. What really matters to me? What do I want my life to stand for? What kind of person do I aspire to be? Sometimes these answers are easy to identify. Other times they require a bit more digging. Consider moments in your life when you felt proud, fulfilled, or deeply satisfied. What were you doing in those moments? Who were you with? What values were being expressed through your actions? As you uncover these values, you may begin to notice a disconnect between your current life and the life you envision. You might realize that some of your daily choices, habits, or even relationships are not aligned with your true values. This is completely normal, and it's the first step toward realignment. It can be difficult to let go of old patterns, especially when they feel familiar or comfortable, but change, while challenging, is often necessary for growth. Realigning your life to match your values can be an empowering and liberating experience. Realignment doesn't have to happen all at once. It's a gradual process that takes time, reflection, and action. Start small. Number 9. Reinforce the power of your will. As the day winds down and the world around you quiets, there's a moment of stillness that invites reflection. It's in this calm, in the softness of the night, that you can connect with something incredibly powerful, your will. This quiet strength hidden beneath the surface is the most important force you possess. Your will is the foundation upon which everything you are, everything you become, is built. And yet it's often easy to overlook its potential. Now more than ever is the time to awaken this power within you. The beauty of your will is that it cannot be dictated by anything external. Circumstances may shift, people may come and go, and life may throw challenges in your path, but your will remains yours and yours alone. Think about that for a moment. No one else can control your will unless you allow it. It is the essence of your autonomy, the part of you that can say yes or no to any situation, and the part of you that can rise above adversity when life becomes difficult. External forces might shape the circumstances around you, but your will decides how you respond, how you grow, and how you persevere. Every night as you settle into the quiet of your room, take a few moments to remind yourself of this truth. Your will is not a passive force. It is an active power that you can shape and grow. Just as muscles strengthen with regular exercise, so too does your will grow stronger the more you nurture it. When you acknowledge the strength of your will, you are giving it the attention it deserves. You are saying to yourself, I am in control of my choices. I am in control of my destiny. One of the greatest misconceptions we hold about our lives is that our external world dictates our internal world. But this couldn't be further from the truth. Your peace, your happiness, and your strength are not determined by what happens around you, but by how you use your will to respond. Life might not always go according to plan, but your ability to decide how to react, how to stand firm in the face of difficulty, and how to maintain your sense of peace is something no one can take from you. This realization brings a profound sense of freedom. When you tap into your will, you tap into a wellspring of strength that comes from within. To cultivate this power, begin each day with intention. What are you choosing to focus on? What will you allow to influence your thoughts, your actions, and your emotions? By setting these intentions each day, you begin to fortify your will, directing it toward the things that matter most. And when the day ends, take a moment to reflect. Did your actions align with your intentions? Were you in tune with your will throughout the day, or did you let external distractions pull you away from what matters? These small moments of self-reflection create the space for growth, helping you refine your will and make it even more powerful over time. You may not always feel in control of every situation, and that's okay. There will be moments when life seems out of balance, when emotions run high, or when things don't go as expected. Number 10. Meditate on death. At first glance, the idea of meditating on death may seem like a grim or unsettling practice. Most of us naturally shy away from thinking about our mortality. Death is something we often fear or avoid discussing. However, for the ancient Stoics, contemplating death wasn't about focusing on the sadness or dread that comes with it. It was about awakening to the preciousness of life. In Stoic philosophy, the concept of memento mori, which translates to remember you will die, is not a dark or depressing thought, but rather a tool for living a fuller, more intentional life. By remembering that our time here is limited, we can begin to make the most of it. The core idea is simple. Life is finite, and death is inevitable. We cannot control how or when it will come, but we can control how we use the time that remains. Our modern world often leads us to forget this reality. With so many distractions, we tend to lose sight of the fact that every moment we have is fleeting. We procrastinate, we waste time, and we get caught up in unimportant things. The Stoics teach us that by confronting the truth of death head-on, we are not only reminded to value life, but we are also given the urgency we need to live with purpose. The concept of death should not be viewed as a threat, but as a powerful prompt to act. We don't know when our time will run out, so what are we waiting for? In contemplating our mortality, we gain a sense of urgency that compels us to focus on what really matters. This doesn't mean we should rush through life or live in constant anxiety about the end, but rather that we should avoid wasting time on the superficial, the trivial, or the fleeting. By remembering that we won't be here forever, we can make more thoughtful decisions about how we spend our time and energy. The goal is not to be busy, but to be meaningful. Seneca, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, reminds us that life is long if you know how to use it. At first, this may sound contradictory. After all, life is short, isn't it? But what Seneca is getting at is that life can feel long and fulfilling if we live with intention. The real measure of time is not in how many years we live, but in how we live those years. If we fill our days with purpose and wisdom, they stretch out before us, offering rich experiences and deep satisfaction. On the other hand, when we waste time, life feels like it's slipping away faster than we'd like. When we meditate on death, we also begin to see the world more clearly. This practice forces us to prioritize what is truly important. For example, we might realize that chasing status, accumulating material wealth, or seeking validation from others are not the most meaningful pursuits. Instead, we start focusing on cultivating relationships, contributing to the well-being of others, and growing in wisdom and virtue. The Stoics believed that living a virtuous life, acting with courage, justice, temperance, and wisdom, was the highest goal. By keeping death in mind, we understand the importance of shaping our character and our actions in a way that leads to true fulfillment rather than fleeting pleasures. Number 11. Visualize the next day. As the day winds down and the quiet of night settles in, take a moment to pause before you drift off to sleep. This time can be much more than just a transition between 2 days. It can be a powerful moment of preparation for the day to come. The Stoics, the ancient philosophers who practiced resilience and wisdom, had a practice they called premeditatio malorum, or premeditation of evils. Essentially, it was a mental rehearsal for the challenges of the next day. Rather than allowing yourself to drift into unconsciousness without a second thought, use this time to visualize how you want to approach the hours ahead. Visualization is not about imagining a perfect day or expecting only the best things to happen. It's about mentally preparing for both the anticipated and the unexpected. How do you plan to face the small annoyances? What will you do when faced with an unforeseen challenge? It's about rehearsing the way you want to respond to these situations with calm, patience, and strength. In this mental preparation, you cultivate resilience. You learn to become aware of your reactions before they even occur, making it easier to act intentionally rather than react impulsively. The Stoics deeply understood that we can't control external events. Life is unpredictable and obstacles will always appear. However, what they emphasized was that we can control how we react to them. The mind is a powerful tool, and by visualizing challenges and planning your responses in advance, you effectively strengthen your mental muscles. It's like preparing for a mental marathon where you anticipate every potential hurdle, not to avoid them, but to be ready to confront them with grace and wisdom. During this visualization, think about the values you want to uphold the next day. Maybe it's kindness, maybe it's patience, or maybe it's persistence in the face of adversity. Perhaps it's the ability to be present, no matter how busy you are. Envision yourself embodying these virtues throughout the day. For instance, when faced with a difficult conversation, imagine responding not with frustration or defensiveness, but with empathy and calm. When the day gets hectic, picture yourself handling it with a steady mind, not allowing the stress to overwhelm you. This practice isn't about imagining a perfect day, but about knowing how you want to act regardless of what happens. The beauty of this nightly visualization is that it helps you gain clarity and control over your emotions and actions. Often, we are at the mercy of our impulses, especially in high-pressure moments. But when you've already mentally prepared for those situations, you've given yourself a roadmap. Your reactions aren't guided by knee-jerk emotions, but by the values and mindset you've already set in place. This internal rehearsal enables you to choose your response, rather than be a passive participant in your own life. When you think about tomorrow, it's not about controlling the outcome, but controlling how you engage with it. Life is full of surprises, but your emotional and mental preparation makes you more capable of handling them. Number 12. Set your intentions. Starting each day without a clear sense of direction is like setting off on a journey without a map. You might wander, get distracted, or feel lost along the way. That's why setting your intentions before you even wake up can transform the way you approach each day. It gives you a roadmap to follow, guiding you through the hours with focus, clarity, and purpose. The practice of setting intentions is more than just a productivity hack. It's a way to live each day with intention, mindfulness, and a deeper connection to your goals and values. The key to a successful day begins the night before. Before you go to sleep, take a few moments to reflect on what you want to accomplish tomorrow. This isn't about rigidly planning every single minute, but about getting clear on your mission for the day. By simply identifying what's important to you, you set the tone for a more intentional start the following morning. When you wake up, you'll already know what you're working toward. It could be a big project or a small task, but whatever it is, having clarity from the start eliminates that feeling of uncertainty that often leads to wasted time. Setting an intention is about giving your day a sense of purpose. It's not just about ticking off a to-do list or achieving goals. It's about deciding how you want to show up. When you set an intention, you're not only mapping out what you'll work on, but also how you'll respond to the day's challenges. Imagine waking up with a plan for how you'll stay positive, how you'll deal with setbacks, or how you'll maintain your focus no matter what distractions come your way. This mental clarity gives you a framework to navigate whatever life throws at you, ensuring that you remain aligned with your values and priorities. One of the most powerful ways to make your intentions effective is to keep them simple and clear. Sometimes we overcomplicate things by setting too many goals at once. The problem with that is, it can overwhelm us, leaving us unsure of where to focus our energy. Instead, choose one or two main intentions that resonate deeply with you. These intentions can be specific to your career, your personal life, or your inner growth. For example, your intention could be as simple as, I will stay calm and focused in meetings today, or I will take time to be present with my family. The beauty of setting such clear intentions is that they help you maintain focus on what truly matters, cutting through the noise of everyday distractions. Your intention doesn't have to be a grand achievement. It can be as small as deciding to take care of yourself by drinking more water or setting aside a few minutes for mindfulness. Sometimes it's these small intentional actions that make the biggest impact on our overall well-being. The idea is to set something that feels meaningful and aligned with who you are and what you truly want out of your day. When you align your actions with your deeper values, your days will feel more satisfying and purposeful, no matter how routine or busy they may seem. An important aspect of setting intentions is acknowledging that challenges will arise. Number 13. Challenge your comfort zone. The ancient Stoics, including figures like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, had a powerful philosophy that might seem counterintuitive to many of us today. They saw discomfort not as something to avoid, but as an essential part of living a meaningful and fulfilling life. In their eyes, adversity was not an enemy to be fought, but a teacher to be embraced. The Stoics believed that our growth, both in character and in wisdom, happens when we step outside our comfort zones and confront the challenges that life throws at us. They knew that comfort and complacency often keep us stagnant, while discomfort forces us to evolve. If you think about it, most of our daily lives are built around avoiding discomfort. We seek out the familiar, the easy, the known. We take the same routes to work, eat the same meals, engage in the same conversations, and stay in safe routines. There's nothing wrong with enjoying comfort, but the Stoics would argue that if we make comfort our constant goal, we're missing out on the opportunity to grow. True strength and wisdom come from navigating the difficult, the unfamiliar, and the uncomfortable. The more we stretch beyond what feels safe, the more we build resilience and discover our potential. As night falls and you prepare to sleep, take a moment to reflect on the day you've just lived. Rather than simply reviewing your tasks and to-dos, pause and ask yourself a few important questions. Where did I choose comfort today? What moments did I shy away from because they felt too difficult? Where could I have challenged myself more? This simple practice of reflection can be a powerful tool. It encourages us to become more aware of how often we seek the easy route and how many opportunities we miss to push our limits. Most of the time, We don't even realize when we're avoiding discomfort. We just follow our instincts, looking for ease. But with intentional reflection, we begin to see these moments more clearly. Once you've identified those areas of comfort, think about how you can expand your boundaries tomorrow. The Stoics didn't believe in pushing yourself into discomfort just for the sake of it. They believed in doing it with purpose. The key is to approach discomfort strategically. Maybe there's a conversation you've been avoiding, a task that seems overwhelming, or a new skill that feels intimidating. Instead of continuing to avoid it, think about how you can lean into that challenge. Could you start small, taking baby steps toward something you find uncomfortable? Or perhaps you could dive in head first, fully embracing the discomfort, knowing that it will ultimately help you grow. The Stoic practice of seeking discomfort isn't just about pushing through difficult situations, it's about changing your mindset. Over time, as you begin to embrace challenges rather than shy away from them, you'll notice that discomfort loses its power over you. What once seemed intimidating or overwhelming will gradually become easier to handle. The more you face discomfort, the less it will feel like a threat. You'll start to see discomfort as an invitation to learn, to adapt, and to grow. Number 14. Cultivate self-compassion. In the Stoic way of life, the pursuit of self-mastery is central. Stoics emphasize developing discipline, focus, and control over one's emotions and desires. However, there is a common misconception that Stoicism demands unyielding harshness toward oneself. The truth is, the Stoic path is not about cruelty or perfectionism, but rather about balance, being firm with yourself, yet compassionate in your approach. True self-mastery includes treating yourself with the same care and patience that you would offer to someone you love and respect. Self-compassion is a concept that is often overlooked, especially in a world that values productivity and success above all else. Many of us believe that to improve, we must be relentlessly tough on ourselves, but this mindset can be counterproductive. It's important to understand that we are all works in progress. Like any other human being, you will have moments of weakness, failure, or frustration. Instead of seeing these as setbacks, you can choose to view them as stepping stones toward growth. You are not defined by your mistakes. They are merely part of the process of becoming the person you aspire to be. Marcus Aurelius, one of Stoicism's most famous philosophers, captured this sentiment perfectly when he said, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." On the surface, this might seem like a call for harsh self-criticism, but in reality, it's a reminder to hold yourself accountable while also acknowledging your humanity. When he advises being strict with yourself, he means holding yourself to high standards, striving for excellence and growth in all areas of your life. However, this is balanced by the need for tolerance and understanding when it comes to others, and equally important, toward yourself. While self-discipline is crucial for achieving success and improving ourselves, it should not come at the expense of our mental and emotional well-being. When we slip up or fail to meet our expectations, it's easy to become our own harshest critic. We might be quick to blame ourselves, criticize our actions, or even give up. This negative self-talk can trap us in a cycle of guilt, shame, and frustration. However, self-compassion allows you to step back from that cycle. Rather than berating yourself, you can approach your shortcomings with curiosity and kindness. What can you learn from this situation? How can you grow from it? This mindset shift is incredibly powerful, as it allows you to treat yourself with the same patience and encouragement you would offer a close friend who is going through a difficult time. One of the biggest barriers to practicing self-compassion is the fear of becoming complacent. We might worry that if we're too kind to ourselves, we'll lose the drive to improve. But this is a misunderstanding of what true self-compassion is. It doesn't mean ignoring your mistakes or becoming complacent about growth. Instead, it's about recognizing that mistakes are natural and part of the human experience. Self-compassion allows you to acknowledge your flaws without defining yourself by them. Number 15. Disconnect from the world. In the fast-paced world we live in today, it's easy to feel like we're constantly on the go. Whether it's the constant notifications on our phones, the never-ending rush of information on the news, or the pressure of our daily responsibilities, we are always surrounded by noise. This constant stimulation, while often necessary, can be overwhelming. Over time, it can make it difficult to wind down, especially as the day draws to a close. When it's time to rest, it's essential to disconnect from the external world, even if only for a little while. This doesn't just mean turning off your phone, but it's about truly giving yourself permission to step away from the chaos and find moments of stillness. Seneca, the ancient Roman philosopher, once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." His words are a reminder that much of the stress and anxiety we experience often stems from what we imagine could happen, rather than what is actually happening. Our minds are powerful, and they can easily amplify our fears, creating stress and tension that aren't grounded in the present moment. Instead of facing life's challenges head-on, we often get caught in the storm of what-ifs, imagining the worst-case scenarios. When we don't take the time to silence those thoughts, they spiral out of control, making it much harder to find peace. This is why disconnecting is so important, especially in the moments before sleep. Before you lay your head down to sleep, it's crucial to create an environment of calm. The night offers a natural opportunity to disconnect and reflect, but this can only happen if we make a conscious effort to quiet the distractions. If we allow ourselves to dive into the noise of our day, whether it's through social media, emails, or the buzzing of our devices, we bring that energy into our rest. Instead, make a habit of turning off all external distractions. Shut down your phone, dim the lights, and allow the external world to fall away. This act of creating space, both physically and mentally, is a powerful tool for restoring inner peace. When we disconnect from the world around us, we also give ourselves the chance to reconnect with our inner world. For most of the day, our focus is on the demands of the world, work, social interactions, responsibilities, but in the quiet moments before sleep, we can tune into our thoughts and feelings. This is the time to reflect on the day that's passed. Take a few minutes to contemplate how you felt throughout the day, what you learned, and what you might want to change going forward. These moments of reflection are essential not only for self-awareness, but for emotional balance. Rather than letting unresolved thoughts or stress linger, you can process them in the quiet of the night. Being still before sleep is not about being idle. It's an active practice of mindfulness. Many of us fear quiet because it forces us to face what's really going on in our minds. But in reality, that silence is a gift. In the absence of external noise, we can listen more closely to our own thoughts, desires, and concerns. Number 16. Anchor your mind in the present. Life often feels like a constant pull between the past and the future. The past, with its memories, regrets, and missed opportunities, can weigh us down, while the future, with its uncertainties and endless possibilities, can stir up anxiety. As we drift through our daily lives, we frequently find ourselves trapped in this tug-of-war between what's already happened and what might be. However, true peace is found not in either of these realms, but right here, in the present moment. The key to unlocking this peace lies in learning to anchor your mind in the now, especially before sleep. Before you fall asleep, it's easy for your mind to run wild, replaying the events of the day or worrying about what's to come. These thoughts can rob you of the deep rest you need and disturb your sense of inner calm. The simple act of consciously focusing on the present moment can shift your mind away from this cycle of stress and help you embrace stillness. This doesn't mean ignoring your past or neglecting your future. Rather, it's about recognizing that for now, the only reality you have is the present. One powerful way to anchor yourself in the moment is by focusing on your breath. As you inhale and exhale, bring your awareness to the rhythm of your breathing. Feel the cool air entering your body, and then the warmth as you exhale. This simple act connects you to the here and now, grounding you in the present. It may seem like a small thing, but when you truly focus on your breath, you create a sense of calm that can spread through your entire body and mind. Each breath serves as a gentle reminder to let go of worries about the past or future. The Stoics, an ancient school of philosophers known for their wisdom on how to live a good life, understood this principle deeply. They believed that peace of mind could only be found when we freed ourselves from the tyranny of time. The past is beyond our control, and the future is never certain. What we have is the present, and it is in this moment that we can choose how to respond to the world. They taught that by fully embracing the present, we could avoid unnecessary distress and focus our energy on what we can truly control, our thoughts and actions right now. This doesn't mean that the present moment is always perfect or free from difficulties. Life is full of challenges, and sometimes we are faced with real pain or struggle. However, by centering our attention on the present, we give ourselves the space to experience life as it comes without adding extra layers of worry or regret. We stop fighting against the reality of the moment and instead allow ourselves to simply experience it as it is. This can be deeply liberating. When you practice returning your focus to the present, you train your mind to stay grounded. Imagine you are sitting in a quiet room, feeling your body relax, noticing the weight of your limbs against the bed. This grounding exercise can be a form of meditation, a moment of stillness where you're not trying to escape your thoughts, but simply observe them and let them pass without judgment. Number 17. Forgive yourself and others. At the end of a busy day, as the world quiets down and the night stretches before you, there's an important act you can perform that has the power to transform your life. Forgiveness. It's easy to carry the weight of the day's disappointments, frustrations, and misunderstandings into the night, but doing so can leave you feeling heavy and drained. Whether it's unresolved conflict with someone else, or the lingering guilt you feel about your own actions, the emotional baggage you hold on to affects your well-being. Forgiving yourself and others is the final, freeing step to truly closing the day and preparing for tomorrow. Forgiving others can be one of the most difficult things you'll ever do, especially if someone has hurt you deeply. But forgiveness isn't about condoning the hurt or pretending like nothing happened. Instead, it's about making a conscious decision to release the power that the offense has over you. The longer you hold on to anger, the longer you stay tied to that painful experience. By choosing to forgive, you break those chains and allow yourself to heal. Think of it as freeing yourself from a prison you've built around your own heart, a prison made of resentment, frustration, and past wrongs. You may never be able to change what happened, but you can change how much control it has over your life. Forgiveness doesn't excuse the person who wronged you. It frees you from the emotional grip they hold on you. It's a personal act, one that benefits you, not the one who hurt you. The emotional toll of unforgiveness can have a profound impact on your life, affecting everything from your mental health to your relationships with others. Holding on to grudges can create walls between you and those around you, causing you to live in a cycle of bitterness. When you forgive, you stop feeding that negativity and allow yourself to live with a lighter heart. It's a form of emotional liberation, one that opens the door for joy, peace, and new experiences. Equally important is the need to forgive yourself. Just as you might forgive others, you also deserve to let go of the weight of your own mistakes. We all have moments we regret, things we wish we hadn't done or said, but those moments do not define us. We often find it difficult to move on from our own missteps, replaying them in our minds and punishing ourselves for every perceived failure. But self-forgiveness is crucial to moving forward. It's about recognizing that you are human and that imperfections are part of the journey. Just as you would comfort a friend who made a mistake, you need to offer yourself that same compassion. You're allowed to make mistakes and learn from them. You're allowed to grow and evolve. When you forgive yourself, you create space for personal growth and healing. Instead of staying stuck in a cycle of guilt or shame, you can step into a place of self-acceptance. You recognize that your past does not dictate your future. In fact, your mistakes can become powerful teachers, helping you become a wiser, more empathetic person. But you can only access that wisdom when you release the hold that guilt has on you. In these 17 practices, we are doing far more than just preparing ourselves for sleep. We are laying the groundwork for a life of strength, wisdom, and resilience. Life will inevitably test us through challenges, struggles, and moments of doubt. The key is not to avoid these hardships, but to cultivate an inner strength that allows us to face them with courage. By committing to these practices, we are preparing ourselves not just for a peaceful night of rest, but for the battles and triumphs of each new day. Stoicism at its core is not about escaping suffering, it is about learning to endure it with dignity and wisdom. The philosophy teaches us that pain, difficulty, and adversity are universal aspects of life. We cannot avoid them, but we can choose how we respond. It's not about expecting perfection from ourselves. No one can be perfect, but about striving for progress. Every day presents an opportunity for growth, and even the smallest steps forward contribute to our larger journey. Each time we improve, we fortify our character and become stronger versions of ourselves. Tonight, as you prepare to close your eyes and drift into sleep, take a moment to reflect on your power to shape your own life. The path you take, the decisions you make, and the attitude you cultivate are all within your control. Tomorrow, when you open your eyes to a new day, it will be an opportunity to live in accordance with your values. You will have a chance to practice virtue, deepen your character, and face whatever challenges arise with an unwavering resolve. This is not just another night of rest. This is part of a larger journey, one where each moment of sleep is a stepping stone to greater strength. Sleep is often seen as a retreat, a temporary escape from the world. But in the context of Stoic practice, sleep is not a retreat at all. It is a vital part of preparing for the challenges ahead. When you rest, your body and mind recharge, but more importantly, you are allowing yourself the space to regroup and ready yourself for the day to come. Just as athletes train to build their physical endurance, we must train our minds and hearts to be resilient in the face of life's difficulties. Sleep, then, becomes an essential tool for this process. Not a break from life, but a crucial preparation for it. When the morning comes, rise with intention. This is not a time to groggily stumble through the start of your day. Rather, wake up with purpose, knowing that you are stepping into a new chapter filled with possibility. The challenges you face may not be easy, but you have within you everything you need to confront them. You have practiced patience, cultivated wisdom, and developed the strength to endure. Now is the time to put all of that into action. Life will not always be easy, but your ability to respond with grace, determination, and clarity is what will set you apart. Each new day is a fresh opportunity to live according to the principles of virtue. Whether it's through acts of kindness, moments of self-control, or decisions that align with your deepest values, every action counts. It's not about grand gestures or dramatic changes.